I'll show you on the map what I'm about to do. Here's Gällivare. I'll take the train to Abisko, it's further up here. Then I'll hike down the Kungsleden, turn west to the Nordkalottleden. I think the Nordkalottleden goes down here. After 120 kilometers I'll arrive in Ritsem. Hopefully my resupply box is there. Then I'll take the ferry to Aktse and I'll hike about 15 kilometers on the Saltoluokta to Kungsleden. There I'll follow the Sitasjaure. Yeah. Probably I pronounced this wrong. Here there's Nyak, big mountain. I'll camp my first night back probably here somewhere. And then I'll continue going down the Ruotesvagge. Here's Sälka, this is like the middle of Sarek. Go further down and I'll do like a short round around Laddebakte and then go down Rappadalen. I'll try to stay up there because it's really difficult terrain down there. Stay up there to Skirfe. And then I planned to go straight like this to Kungsleden. So Sitasjaure, and I'll have to take a ferry. Oh, let's see this. So from Skirfe here, take the ferry, follow the Kungsleden, Saltoluokta, take another ferry to Kivnats, take the bus back to Gällivare, and then I'm going home. That's the plan. I'm here at Abisko. This is the official start of the Kungsleden. I'll be about 60 kilometers on Kungsleden and then I'll take the Nordkalottleden. Kungsleden or Nordkalottleden. I'm on my way to Ritsem. I've got perfect weather. I arrived at my destination that I planned to go to. I did 30 kilometers today, and this is where I am now. So this is where Kungsleden and Nordkalottleden are leaving each other. I've continued on Nordkalottleden just a few meters. This is the panorama, and here's my tent. I think it can't get any better than this. So this was my start at Nordkalottleden. I came from down there and the trail was hardly visible. Snow and mud, but very beautiful. About 15 kilometers on the Nordkalottleden, and this is the very first sign I've seen. This is where I come from, and this is where I'm heading to. Well, I assume I will constantly lose the trail and re-find it again with all the snow. So the last few meters to Sitasjaure is gone after I hiked definitely more than 40 kilometers. I'm not going to do this again on this trip, I hope. Road walk to Ritsem from Sitasjaure. What is a beautiful road. This is Nukejaure. I'm gonna cross it tomorrow with a ferry, a small boat. And on the other side I have a few kilometers on Landen. And then at the intersection where Stojaure fallet, Landen and Sarek meets, I will enter to Sarek. Sitasjaure. Right now I'm entering Sarek after many thoughts if it's possible or not. It seems to be possible. I'll give it a try. Erster Tag im Sarek. Es ist genau 8 Uhr und ich bin hier angekommen an der Kisuris-Kote. Das war mein Plan, jetzt baue ich das Zelt auf. At Skaria. So this is the center of Sarek. This mountain is Laddebakte and I'm heading towards it like so, and then down here there must be some steep terrain, and then I go around Laddebakte, and on the other side I enter Rappadalen, if I'm right. So I'm kind of worried about this snow bridge. But it seems to be massive snow, so I'll give it a try. Slowly. So this looks a bit sketchy too. Somebody did this, so probably there's a bit sketch to cross. So we'll see. So this is the small Rappa Valley. It's just before the real Rappadalen starts. And I am doing a little detour that's supposed to be easier. The mountain right in front of me is the Laddebakte. And I'm going around Laddebakte and then back into Rappadalen. And then probably when I arrive at the other side, I will be a bit down in Rappadalen and then go up, hopefully. Managed the sketchy part before Laddebakte, and it definitely was no joke. Really tough terrain and steep climbs with a backpack on in the heat. I walked for more than 3 hours now and just got 10 kilometers in, so that says a lot. But I'm on the top. Not really, but almost. The difficult part is done. This is the view from right after the sketchy part. There's Rappadalen. Follows this little path, and I hope it won't go all the way down into the swamp. So my Sarek traverse seems not to happen. I just arrived at a river that is supposed to be small, and I felt that it was not safe to cross it alone, and there was no way heading up the flood because it was too steep. So now I'm heading back towards Skaria, maybe setting up camp at the lake near Laddebakte. Yeah, and then I'll hike back to Ritsem. This is what happened. I did a hard part today, climbing up to Laddebakte, not completely, but to the high plateau, and then descended back down on the other side towards Rappadalen. And then I arrived at a little creek, and this creek was supposed to be a minor river crossing, but the water level was quite high, and it was a strong current, and it was supposed to be like a minor crossing of a river. And there were a few rivers ahead
that were marked to be kind of tricky. So after having seen quite a few obstacles and hard terrain, if I had crossed this one creek and continued, it would have been the point of no return, because then by turning back I would have to do all the other hard crossings, and I wouldn't have had enough food to return on the way that I came. So this is why I decided to quit my plans and have a nice, relaxed journey back. I still have enough food for 3 or 4 days, I think, and this should be plenty enough to return to Ritsem. And I've seen a lot of Sarek National Park, so I'm happy. So, I've made my trip. There were lots of obstacles. I thought that Sarek might be too snowy, too full of water, the river crossing's too hard. So I almost turned back to Ruotesvagge and up back to Ritsem. But then I met some friendly other hikers, a couple, and they proposed that I could join them. They had a rope to do the sketchy river crossings, and that way it felt much safer to go on. And I did it. I am here on Skirfe, and I am perfectly in time. Right now I'll hike down to Aktse and tomorrow towards Saltoluokta, maybe with a stop in Sitasjaure. But Sarek Crossing is done.